Welcome to this episode of the Harpreet Singh Show. I'm your host Harpreet Singh from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. आज this program ਵਿੱਚ much awaited International South Asian Film Festival ਜੋ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦਾ ਆਯੋਜਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਚਾਹ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੀ। ਇਸ ਵਾਰ 28 ਸਤੰਬਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 1 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਤੱਕ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦਾ ਆਯੋਜਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੋ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਣਗੇ। ਪੱਲਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਕੋਆਰਡੀਨੇਟਰ ਨੇ, ਇੱਕ ਸੈਲੀਬ੍ਰੇਟਡ ਐਕਟਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਪ੍ਰੋਡਿਊਸਰ ਨੇ, ਸਿੰਗਰ ਅਤੇ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ। ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਾਧਾ ਮਹਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਫਿਲਮ ਮੇਕਰ ਨੇ, ਅਵਾਰਡ ਵਿਨਿੰਗ ਮਲਟੀ ਡਿਸਪਲਿਨਰੀ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਹੈ ਫਿਲਮਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਮਿਊਜ਼ਿਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਤੇ ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। So our guests will be joining us and we'll be talking about ISAFF as to what all is happening, and along with that we'll also learn about the movie Dosh, which is being presented by Radha Mehta in this program. So let's welcome both our guests and continue with our discussion. Pallavi ji and Radha ji, welcome to the program.
Hi,
thank you for having us.
You're most welcome. Thank you for being here. So it's great to have both of you here. But before I jump into the International South Asian Film Festival, Pallavi, I would like to start with you. How did you get interested into this particular field, and what all have you accomplished so far?
Summary. I'm a Los Angeles-based actor, producer. Started as a singer actually in New York, doing a lot of theater, and transitioned into television film about 12, 13 years ago, and I've been acting on television mostly ever since. And I got involved with ISAFF last year because I had a film that was the closing night film there, and we really hit it off. All the leadership there is really wonderful and inclusive, and they were looking to really expand the festival this year, bring it more international, make it more inclusive and expansive in that way. And so they asked us to come on, myself and my producing partner. We're co-directors of programming this year. Sastry is her name. And so we're really excited about the program that we've put together this year. And I think all of the Surrey and BC audience will love it.
Wonderful. We'll learn more from you about this. And Radha, what is your background? How did you get interested in this field?
Yeah, so my background is I'd been a documentary filmmaker for nearly a decade. And then just this past 2 years, I had pursued an MFA in film at the American Film Institute Conservatory. So I just finished my directing fellowship, and that was my segue into narrative filmmaking. And so film and music and just all visual mediums has been a part of my life, my creative life, for way longer than a decade itself. But narrative filmmaking is relatively new to me. And so this film that I was so fortunate to have selected with this festival is my AFI MFA thesis film, which is called Dosh.
Okay, we'll learn more about this, of course. And once again, welcome to the program. So, Pallavi, let's start off with you. As you pointed out, you are the program coordinator for ISAFF. But before that, when we talk about the representation of South Asian in films, how do you see it over the years? What has evolved? What are the challenges and what have been the achievements?
Yeah, I think even in the last 5 years, it's moving up very quickly, which I think is a good thing, right? I think the content that we consume and the films that we see should reflect the world that we live in. And I think for our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation that might have migrated here, generations ago, many decades ago, they could have seen maybe an ancillary character here and there that just was a plot point or like a plot device that they would have been an ancillary character to mostly white narratives, and it wasn't, the stories weren't about them and their stories and their journeys. But now I think, we're at a point with diaspora filmmakers like ourselves and, Radha here, we get to explore not only our parents' generation stories and our grandparents' generation stories, but how they have affected us and how we're moving through our life here in this sort of double life that we call it sometimes, right? Of being, fully South Asian and embracing who we are, but also trying to be an American or Canadian or Australian or what have you.
Right. Mm-hmm. And Radha, what would you like to add on to what Pallavi has said?
Yeah, I mean, I think Pallavi just nailed it. I think that one of the things that I've been learning and seeing myself in a lot of the films that we see, especially international films that are not South Asian, in the sense that not by South Asian filmmakers, there's a certain sense of humanity that's shared in those films that really resonate with people, and a certain sense of like a human condition that we can all relate to, irrespective of culture. And I think it's so important that us as South Asian storytellers, we tap into that root, the things that make us human. And I feel like just being able to focus on that in our story, and then let culture be just part of the background of it, but not the main point of the story, I feel like we can reach bigger audiences, and I think we're on our way. I think what requires to make that happen is just greater support from not only within our South Asian community, but beyond, to allow us that platform to be able to tell our stories. Because once we do, I feel that it's incredibly, incredibly powerful for the world to connect with.
But being a South Asian, what kind of challenges do you face? Are they separate from other newcomer from any other community? And as you said, we need more people from not only just our community, but we want to diverse also. We want to go to other communities also. So what kind of challenges do you go through? Let's start with you, Radha.
Ooh. One of the challenges is, I think it's because we don't see many precedents out there of successful South Asian storytelling. And part of it is because of the lack of support to get those stories made. Those specific storytellers had to break a lot of ground in order just to be seen or heard. So just that alone is already a challenge, in the sense that we're still continuing to break ground. And I feel that, and Pallavi can talk to this, but I feel that when there is greater support in the type of unique stories that we have to offer, it just allows us more freedom to then tell the stories that we truly want to tell, as opposed to telling the stories that our client or a studio executive feels that would be better for a non-South Asian audience. And I think that goes down a wrong path, and that's what really hinders us in being able to tell the nuanced stories that we have within us and that deserve to be seen.
Right. And Pallavi, would you like to add on to what Radha has said?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely true in terms of the artistry and whatnot that we have to offer to the world, and how it is very much on par with any counterpart, and I think intersectional storytelling is also really important, so that, we can show that these stories are very universal. But I also want to add that at the end of the day, the film, it's a business, right? And I think the change has started, or we've tried to start the change within our own communities of seeing this as a viable and valuable thing that we do, right? For the longest time, we were, when we migrate to whatever diaspora that we're headed to, it was about security and stability and all of that is usually not associated with any artistic endeavor. But our culture is so rich with artistic integrity and so much history that it's unfortunate if we don't use that rich history and inform the work that we do, because at the end of the day, we are the global majority. South Asian people make up the majority of the world's population, right? And people are, and the film industry and the television industry are making content for our eyeballs to consume. So why should we not have a piece of our own pie, right? And so I think at the end of the day, if we are looking at this as not only an artistic endeavor with integrity, but it's also a valuable business, then those worlds coming together will make us unstoppable.
Interesting. What we are talking about is really interesting, and especially from South Asians who are in this field, it's really very important. And I'd like to go for a short break, and we'll be shortly back, and we'll continue with the discussion. There seems to be some problem with the synchronization of Pallavi's voice, but that's fine. We are hearing you loud and clear, so we'll continue with the discussion after this short break.
हर रंग है साडे को, हर मॉडल, हर एक दी अपनी वक्री पहचान। असीं एक परिवार हां, साडा कर्म है अगे वधाउणा, सफर नूं सौखा बनाउणा। बसंत मोटर्स, तुहाडे नाल, तुहाडे करके।
है जुल्म ढाने का अंदाज भी कितना हंसी, हमारी जान पर बनाई है जब जब उसने अंगड़ाई ली। कभी खामोश रहते हैं, कभी शोर होता है। मोहब्बत में शरारत का मजा कुछ और होता है। दिल को जज्बात का तोहफा खामोशियों को बात का तोहफा, खूबसूरती में जड़ी नजाकत अदाओं की चांद से मुखड़े को चांद सा तोहफा।
भारत ज्वेलर्स, सच्चे प्यार की चमक जैसा। पाई बिजनेस सेंटर सरी।
ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਰੀ, ਡੈਲਟਾ, ਰਿਚਮੰਡ, ਐਬਸਫੋਰਡ ਜਾਂ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਵਾਂ ਘਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਤਜਰਬੇਕਾਰ ਬਿਲਡਰ, ਇੱਕ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਿਵ ਇੰਟੀਰੀਅਰ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਰ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਹੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਉਸਾਰ ਸਕਣ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਜਾਂ ਸੰਦੀਪ 6048259295 ਉੱਤੇ।
Once again, welcome back to the program. The beauty of our culture is we can converse in different languages. So, Punjabi ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਹਿੰਦੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਫਿਲਮ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲ ਹੋਣ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਪਲਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰੀ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਕੋਆਰਡੀਨੇਟਰ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਰਾਧਾ ਮਹਿਤਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਿਲਮ ਮੇਕਰ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਫਿਲਮ ਦੋਸ਼ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਬਿਫੋਰ ਦ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਆਇਡੈਂਟੀਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਇਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਪ੍ਰਫੁੱਲਤਾ ਲਿਆਉਣੀ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਚੈਲੰਜਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਮੁੜ ਤੋਂ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਮਹਿਮਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਪਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣੇ ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਦਾ ਸਿਲਸਿਲਾ ਅੱਗੇ ਤੋਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। So both of you very rightly mentioned, how we are creating our own space with the different kind of challenges that we face. And when we talk about the achievements, we find that now a lot of things have been achieved also. So could you, like you both have went to the schools over there in the States and other places, so you have seen, storytelling is accepted everywhere. Everybody wants to learn from each other. So as far as our achievements are concerned, Radha ji, what do you think? Where do we stand? Have we accomplished, reached that level where we should be? Yes, Radha, can you hear me?
Are you asking me or Pallavi?
Yes, I asked you. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So I think that there's been a lot of ground that's been broken, with Mindy Kaling and, if you see the Oscar winners that have happened just this recent year, with The Elephant Whisperer, as well as, being nominated All That Breeds, and, with Riz Ahmed and the work that he did in Sound of Metal, it's just really brought South Asian representation onto the global stage. But I do feel that we have a very long way to go. If anything, that, by breaking this ground, it offers more opportunities for the rest of us to follow and then be able to innovate as we continue to this, on the storytelling journey. But of course, there's a long way to go. And I think that speaks to, other diasporas as well, that are not South Asian. I mean, you see the journeys that they've come along, when it comes to Asian representation, with them winning, everyone and everything all at once. So I just feel like we're waiting for that, but we're creating that ourselves, and we're just going to have to keep charging on.
Right. Well, there is another issue, from the culture from which we come, there are still some taboos associated within our culture as far as films are concerned. Do you think that we are coming out of that, or still that taboo has an influence on where we stand?
I can take this one.
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I think platforms like ISAFF are really important for exploring all of those topics, right? I think, we all have a lot to say, and we all, at the end of the day, like, no matter what your cultural background is, I think we all experience very similar emotions when it comes to, and similar challenges. It's just, how is it that we are able to overcome them within our community in order to find peace as a humanity, right? So I think that's where film is a really powerful medium, because we are essentially watching people's experience be told through the utmost humanity of their own humanity. So I think that's why, to your point, yes, there are taboo topics, but I think if they're told from a place of humanity, and they're showing the people within the story rather than highlighting the issue and not making them issue films, then that's a more effective way of moving through those taboos.
Right. I think there aren't many South Asian film festivals which are held across the world. So, Radha, how do you think festivals like International South Asian Film Festival, which have been held continuously in the Lower Mainland, Vancouver and Surrey for the past many years, they help producers and directors like you to come forward and come up with ideas?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think this festival is incredible in terms of the effort that they've been putting together behind the scenes and really just, bringing the films and the programming that they did bring, but also just supporting us as well. Like in terms of being able to establish connections for someone like me, for instance, as a director who will eventually make my first feature film, I'm going to need that support. And what better support than community first? And so I feel that the curation that they offer and just cutting edge film, we're also honored to be a part of it. But what they offer even more is really just establishing that community and that space where we can actually support one another long after the festival completes. And I'm really grateful for
Absolutely,
that.
and that's a very pertinent and important point that you have touched. The South Asian community coming forward and supporting. And these kind of festivals are a place where you get the like-minded people and you get support also from there. But in general terms, when we talk about the South Asian community as such, do you think that we are at that level where we are coming forward to support ideas and storytelling, which in the form of documentaries or films? Are you getting that kind of support or not?
I mean,
I
I think we're getting there. So
Okay.
Pallavi, go for
yeah,
it.
no, please, go for it, go for it. We can both
Yeah,
speak to
please.
this, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot that we could
Radha, you
say.
can start and then I'll get Pallavi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think we're getting there.
Uh-huh.
I do find, and I may be, I don't know if I'm, speaking out of term here, but I do find that some South Asians can also bring other South Asians down in some ways when we're all trying to tell our own story in the way we know. And I think we have to be careful of that. I think because the rest of the global world, I mean, they see this type of communication that happens for each other and about each other, that we should be more supportive, in my opinion. And the ones who do support, they lift. They lift us up in wonderful ways, and I think wonderful things happen. But I feel like we do have a long way to go, because I think sometimes South Asians are the most critical of our own storytellers. And I think if we come from a place of support and actual just encouragement, I think that actually breaks new ground, and we should be open and willing to allow for that.
Right. Yes, Pallavi.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, it sort of goes back to the parallel that I was drawing between the artistic integrity and seeing it as a valuable endeavor, right? And I think for us as a community, as a diaspora, a global diaspora, we definitely still have a long way to go. But I think the fact that there are so many leaders in the space, in our community coming forward in the industry as a whole, like she mentioned, Mindy Kaling, Riz Ahmed, Dev Patel, they're in documentary film. There's countless numbers of Oscar nominations. We had a whole celebration this year, a pre-Oscar celebration that was South Asian, that was hosted by Paramount and Priyanka Chopra this year.
Right.
And so we did that in Los Angeles, and I think that just sort of is the tip of the iceberg of all of us trying to lift each other up at the same time. Because if we're still seeing each other as competition, then there's really no way for us to break that ceiling of just becoming storytellers in our own right without having to put that, oh, we're a South Asian storyteller, or
Right.
we're this storyteller. We're filmmakers, period. And so I think that starts with our community for sure. And again, I think these festivals that are truly inclusive, like ISAFF, are going to lead the way in that effort.
Excellent. Wonderful. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. I have also been, involved with this organization for a long time. I've seen the growth from maybe just 2 films being screened to now probably 30, 40 films which are going to be screened. So we'll go for a break, and once we are back, Pallavi, we would like to know the schedule for what all is happening in this International South Asian Film Festival this year, which is starting on September the 28th. And of course, Radhaji, we'd like to know from you about your film, Dosh, Fault. What are you trying to project in this, and what impact do you think this movie will have? So after the short break, we'll be shortly back and we'll continue with our discussion.
ਘਰ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੀ ਪਲ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰਿਆ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਦ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਜੇ ਹੋਏ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਬਦਲਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ। ਨਵੇਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਰੇਮਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਤੱਕ, ਡ੍ਰੇਪਰੀ, ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗਸ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਡੈਕੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ, ਅਸੈਸਰੀਜ਼ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ SK ਹੋਮ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਹਕੀਕਤ 'ਚ ਬਦਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਕੌਰ 6048259295।
ਸੋ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ। ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੋ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਪੱਲਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰੀ ਅਤੇ ਰਾਧਾ ਮਹਿਤਾ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਫਿਲਮ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲ 28 ਸਤੰਬਰ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਣ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ, ਆਓ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੱਸ ਦਈਏ ਕਿ ਦਿਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਇਜ਼ ਬੀਇੰਗ ਬ੍ਰੌਟ ਟੂ ਯੂ ਵਿਦ ਦ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਆਫ AMC ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸ। If you're looking for home, auto, travel, business, life or recreational insurance, they have 9 branches in the lower mainland to serve you, and they're open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. For more information, you can call them at 604-507-6666. ਸਾਡੇ ਅਗਲੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗੀ ਹਨ ਅਗਨੀਹੋਤਰੀ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ। ਟੈਂਪਰੇਰੀ ਸਟੇਟਸ PR ਨਵੇਂ ਹੋ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਨੀਰਾ ਅਗਨੀਹੋਤਰੀ। 2006 ਤੋਂ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੰਸਲਟੈਂਟ ਵਜੋਂ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਓਨੈਸਟ ਤੇ ਰਿਲਾਇਬਲ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਣ ਦਾ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604-597-2284 604-597-2284. So let's get back our guests and learn more from them as to what is going to happen from September 28th onwards. So Pallavi, if you could give us the schedule, what is happening during these days? How many documentaries, how many short films, how many films are coming?
Yeah, I think this year we really were very excited about the theme. Pathbreakers is the theme this year, and we wanted to make sure that every film fit the theme in different ways, right? Mm-hmm. You know, is there, even if it's not necessarily like a storyline that might be pathbreaking or we haven't seen before, maybe the filmmaker, it's their first time making a film, or maybe it's somebody who has teamed up to make a series, and maybe we're showing some episodics, but it's a wide variety of content that's being put together, that we put together this year, and we're starting with a lovely opening night film out of the UK and India called Lord Curzon Ki Haveli, starring Arjun Mathur and Rasika Duggal, and it's a first-time feature filmmaker as well, so that's going to be opening night, and we're doing an opening night Q&A with that filmmaker Anshuman Jha, and in the middle we have Sundance Award-winning documentaries. We have AFI filmmakers like Radha. We have really intentionally programmed short film blocks that are theme-based, right? So, for example, we've seen a massive surgence in genre filmmaking in our community, which is very exciting. So that means thrillers, horror films, and maybe psychological based themes and music videos and things like that. So there's one block that we put together called What Did I Just Watch? Because it might be experimental in that way, right? And so we want people to walk away from those films questioning things, asking questions, going to look up those filmmakers and other work that they've made. And we also have a wonderful closing night film out of TIFF and Khan called In Flames, which is a Canadian Pakistani filmmaker named Zarar Khan. Okay. And he is well on his way, second-time feature filmmaker, and we're very, very excited about having his film as the closing night film. And then the flagship programming that's outside of competition is we have a documentary with Nina Davaluri, who was the very first South Asian Miss America 10 years ago. And so we'll be hosting her film and having a wonderful discussion. You mentioned taboos earlier, and we are going to be having discussion on beauty standards in the South Asian community and on film. So I'll be hosting and moderating that discussion, and then we're also hosting the 10th anniversary screening of The Lunchbox, starring the late Irfan Khan, directed and written by Ritesh Batra. And so we're very, very excited to host that one as well.
Excellent. That's really good.
Yeah.
So, as you said, the 28th is the beginning and October 1st is going to be the last day of this event. So, Radha, you are bringing the film Dosh. Tell us a little bit about it. Is it your first film? what have you tried to bring out in this? A little bit, just a trailer, because otherwise we'll miss the the entire film. So of course I would recommend everyone to be present over there and watch this film. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So yes, it's a narrative film, short film, and it's about the journey of a young, South Asian mother who does what she can to seek help for her bipolar husband. So it touches on the topics of mental health as well as physical disability and the taboo that we often suffer around that. But how to be able to overcome that, not from only within, but from within community as well. And the reason I call it fault or dosh is because it's never, I'm a strong believer, just based on my personal experiences, I'm a strong believer that anyone that does suffer or undergo like mental health challenges or even physical disabilities, it's not their fault. They're just a victim to a specific challenge. And what I do believe is that it's often the fault of society when it comes to us being able to shun that or to hide talking about that taboo. And it's our it's on us as a society and as a culture to be able to bring that to the forefront and talk about it and be able to address that with love and empathy.
Very true. That's really interesting and very good that you have brought this forward, because right now this is, I would say, a global pandemic of mental health issues and everything. And the best part of these film festivals is that issues are brought forward, where you try to talk about them, and also through films, through short documentaries, you are trying to project and give an answer also as to what needs to be done in the community. Wonderful discussing and talking to you both. In conclusion, Pallavi, what would you like to say? Your website, if anybody wants to learn more, what is that? And any other thing you would like to conclude with?
Yes, I will put some urgency on it that tickets are going very fast, but the passes and tickets are available at isaff.ca, ISAFF.ca. And you can find us on social media. It's a very, very active page. And I do hope that everybody will make it out. If you're in Vancouver, Surrey, then please come to the ISAFF Film Festival this year. It is a path-breaking year, and we're all going to be there to celebrate together.
Absolutely, and the focus this year is Path Breakers. So why you chose Path Breakers this year? I forgot in the beginning to ask you.
It's all good. I think for us, actually, I'll be honest, it was a theme that was brought to us, and I think that's a testament to Manu and Pansy and the leadership at the festival, that they're always looking to raise the bar at ISAFF, and I think the rebrand of ISAFF from their previous name as well is a nod to that as well. They're trying to grow, expand, include, and they're showing that Surrey is a hub for great filmmaking and great film, and also that there's people in our industry that that in our community, in our industry, that deserve the recognition that they can provide.
Absolutely wonderful. And Radha, what would you like to say in the end?
Yeah, just stay tuned for, just updates on our film at doshfilm.com. But we're just so grateful to be at this festival. We'll be in the Sunday screening at the 12 o'clock block called Mind Over Matter. And our film is programmed with some amazing films, and we feel so honored and blessed. So if you're in Vancouver, please come and support this amazing festival, and come support us filmmakers, because we need all the love and support from community as we can get.
Wonderful. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Best wishes and congratulations for these initiatives. You are the trailblazers of the community, and we are proud of whatever you do. And of course, we would also request all the people who are watching this program to do come over. And as Pallavi was saying, tickets are selling fast. Please go to isaff.ca and you can get all the information about all the programs that are being held. Once again, congratulations and best wishes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਪੱਲਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰੀ ਅਤੇ ਰਾਧਾ ਮਹਿਤਾ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ISAFF 23 ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਸੈਪਟੈਂਬਰ 28 ਤੋਂ ਅਕਤੂਬਰ 1 ਸਰੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। isaff.ca ISAFF.ca ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਚੋਂ ਲੋਕ ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਕੇ, ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਯੰਗਸਟਰਸ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਸਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲਸ ਹੋਣ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਐਸਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੋਏ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਇਨਕਰੇਜ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਟਲੀ ਆਓ ਅਤੇ ਆਨੰਦ ਲਓ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੋ, ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵੱਖਰੀਆਂ ਫਿਲਮਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰੇਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਰਦਾ ਮੰਡੇ ਟੂ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੇ 6 ਵਜੇ ਪੈਸੀਫਿਕ ਸਟੈਂਡਰਡ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਿਕ। इत्थे लेना आ गया. If you want to contact me through WhatsApp anywhere in the world, you can call me at 604-603-7555 या email करो harpreetsinghshow@gmail.com. इत्थे लेने आ गया जी. Have a safe evening, stay healthy and enjoy yourself.